you know, I think it's like American countries, and I think, don't quote me on it, maybe like the UK and stuff like that uses asphalt. Exotic goods trader. Yay, West Atchway is here to trade. Okay, well, it's nighttime, so Seahorse can go and say hello. Do we have any quests? I should probably check that. No, we don't. And we are researching. We're trying desperately to get some goddamn stuff back. We're getting some chickens. We got some chickens growing. I can say growing. They're like, you know, hatched and are alive and stuff, but it's fine. We're growing them like they're plants. We don't need more yaks. However, I should probably actually check the male-female ratio. I did set up a while ago that I could only have so many males of certain animals just to keep the numbers breeding but controlled. Because all you need, essentially, one male, any number of females, you'll just get all the females pregnant, and then you'll have extra, like double your quantity of animals the following spring or whatever. So that's generally all you need, but I always keep a spare or two. We did get a female thrombo calf. She's getting up there, so she must be getting trained if she's got like 2005. Because these ones that are like nearly $3,000, they have maximum training. They're bonded, all the good stuff, right? She's not bonded, but she's very clearly trained for that price. Oh yeah, one male, 6 females. It's a good thing. I've just had so many cases where like somebody goes into a slaughtering thing, and before I know it, there goes one of my primary males. And I had it actually when I had a cat colony, one of my first games. I didn't really go too much into the farming animals, but I had 15 cats join my game at the very start. Like, you know, cats join in, you know, pops up, and I'm like, oh sweet, I want cats. And I had a colony of 15 cats, and 2 of them were males and the rest of them were females. That's 13 breeding females, and before I knew it, I was absolutely overrun and inundated with just cats. And I'm like, this is going out of control. So I'd culled it down to 1 male, and I think I had 10 females. And then something attacked the male, and I suddenly couldn't breed any. And none of them had been pregnant. They'd all had their litters, and I just culled them all. And I was like, fuck, I have to buy one now. I have to buy a male cat from somewhere to keep some level of population up. And I found that like it's not so much of a problem if you're like selling them kind of consistently, but in the event that some shit goes down, like my thrombos have that happen occasionally too, where like somebody just has a spat and a thrombo gets killed. So I always try to keep like 2 or 3 males, and in any type I probably keep like 5 females of non-hauling animals, and then I probably keep probably about 10 hauling females of hauling animals. Oh yeah, that was the heartbreaking thing. Is I love cats. Right? I've had a dog before, and she was lovely too. But like, I currently own cats, and I quite love them. And so when I got the cats in the game, I was like enamored. I'm like, oh my god, I've got all these little cats, and I sold some to a nearby trader, and I'm like, oh cool, you know, just take some of my cats off my hands for me. And so then he sent cargo pods back to my base with cat meat. And I was just like, I just had like a shocked Pikachu face, just sat there like, are you kidding? Are you kidding me right now? I'm like, I gave you cats in like the best of will to love and keep, and you ate them. Oh man. Shut up, Grim. It was sad. It was sad. Not funny. So I'm gonna actually like buy some stuff because this is an exotic trader, so I can sell some good things. So I'm gonna get a trading. I'm gonna get a skill trainer for plants, and I'm gonna sell some of these tusks, these Dumbo horns. That's gonna give me a good amount of money. So I'm just gonna take that up a little bit higher because I want to get this extra shock lance. Yeah, and sell one more. Nope, too much. Okay, I could potentially take this opportunity to buy some bionic gear. However, because my fridge is on the fritz, I don't want to risk it being like deteriorating and being crappy quality. And I would not touch one of these psychic animal pulses for the world because I have too many animals myself, and it basically does the same kind of thing as with the psychic insanity lance that I was explaining earlier, where it basically just makes the animals just go nuts and kill everything and everyone, and I just can't risk that they're gonna kill each other as well. I need to overwrite that one. Oh man. Oh, that's what they've been wasting the freaking metal on, is these batteries. You idiots. You need to build this. Like, it needs 100 steel each, and they've got all the components, I imagine, in them. And even if they finished one of these solar panels, it would give us a level of relief for the fridging area. We just don't have that kind of steel yet. As you can see, I don't have any icons yet that are steel. You might not know what they look like, but if I hover over something, there's one. We've got steel. Okay, somebody's bringing in steel. I'm down. Alright. Who's a night out? Lincoln. Get your ass cheeks out here. Get working on that. Get working on it right now. Empty batteries. Yeah, I love the aesthetic of just empty batteries just cluttering up my space visually. Like, don't mind that when they're full, they cast light. Just don't mind that. These traders, the amount of times I have traders come in with like whatever indiscriminate number of animals. And then they're like, hey, it's dinner time, let's run into your cafe, and just like all the animals go with them and just soil all over my kitchen dining hall. And I'm like, if I saw that in real life, if I was like somebody that had like an encampment, like let's say like any kind of encampment, and some trader decided to visit my place and took all of their cows and buffaloes and yaks into my clean dining hall and let them just soil everywhere while they just had some food, I don't think that that trader and their animals would ever leave my base. They would be laid to rest and eaten. I'm just stating the real world facts here. Okay. Did they take some of your food? Did they? I didn't know that. I thought that they brought their own food. Have they been stealing from me this whole time as well? Sometimes. Wow. I gotta keep an eye on these bastards now. Here I am, thinking that these traders are coming in and making good on giving me some money and some supplies. And here they are, stealing my shit, mucking up my dining halls, and like just generally being a nuisance. Like occasionally they'll go into a psychotic state and attack each other. That's always fun to watch. Like, I don't know what their beef is. Like, you can click on them. I'll click on this guy and I see what like his social is. If they're talking about better foods and stuff like that. But then if you have a look at their needs, like he's a body purist, so he must have something on him. He's got a bionic spine, mate. Would you prefer to just be like, you know, broken spine, or would you prefer to be like a bionic spine? Because bionic spine sounds pretty freaking awesome. Good. Go. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. You can have a trade spot thing. Yeah, as you know, I don't really have too many mods. I've only got like a couple of basic ones, mostly for the purpose of like, you know, dropping stuff easily and not much else really. Where's my other one? I've got the drop everything and the prepare carefully. That's it. Mostly the storytelling aspect of being able to create my own tribe and being able to drop everything off the caravan animals so that my other animals can focus on it. Oh yeah, they fell down a little bit in our goodwill because that happens over time. So what happens is my people will interact with them to trade and do quests and stuff to keep my goodwill up with my allies. And particularly like these ones that already start out with a -80 hostile or -130, and you can kind of like negotiate with them until they're neutral and then work up to being an ally with them. They'll always naturally if unattended, fall backwards until they fall to eventually neutral or to negative. And if I keep up regular interactions with them, it will prevent them from getting too low. Normally, in the early game, they probably stay around about that 50-60 kind of ally rate, but late game, they don't get any lower than 74%, you know, in like ally. I need to check we've got mufflos in the area, mostly males. I'll take the one female. Oh, rhinoceroses. I'm going to leave the rhinos alone. The amount of times my people die from rhino attacks. Research. Did I actually pick something earlier? I did not. Got distracted. I thought about making sterile materials because that would allow me to make a sterile hospital and kitchen. I think that could be worth it. It's going to require a lot of silver and steel once I've got it. But there's, geothermal power. That's what I need right now. Okay, staying focused on what's actually important. I need to make sure I have 3 types of power. If I was on a base that had water, I might be able to use the water mill generator, and that would be great. But I don't really have any bodies of water that are super large enough and current raising to be able to do that. I could pop them into these little like puddles that I've got, but it's not going to do much. Might do something, but not enough. Not enough to be worth the cost to build and the fact that my people just have a tantrum and destroy it anyway. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I didn't know that it affects healing as much. I kind of forgot about that, but I did know about the food poisoning. That's why I want to make it, because my people keep getting sick. And like, as you can see, this area is not like super dirty. It's got some dirt, like a little patch there and stuff, but it should be a lot cleaner. And I would like to make this sort of area where I'm storing meats and vegetables and stuff to be cleaner. Also, my rice is coming along nicely. That's mostly what I'm growing is crops of rice. So I can't harvest anything yet. They're not fully grown, but I'm just going to check each one. Make sure. Okay. They're not ready yet. That's okay. And I think these might be hay. Yes. I was making a very small amount of hay grass, and if you're wondering why they're where they are, if I find the fertility overlay, which is for growing, I click that, you'll see that these dark green areas are where I actually have my crops growing. What it is that these are highly fertile areas where I can put a crop down and it will grow probably twice as fast as anywhere else in the map that's green. And if I plant it on the yellow, it can grow. It won't grow fast. It will grow probably at about half the speed, if not less than that. And it can be very frustrating because sometimes these really green areas do match up onto these sort of yellow areas, and you know, anywhere that's not lit up, like these sort of areas, are stone or water, and you cannot grow on those. And so whenever you get something like this, it's actually better off to say make that say a bedroom or a storage area, because you literally can't grow anything on it. So one of the things that I can research in the future is hydroponics, and I considered it because hydroponics, what it does is it allows me to have, say, a room of this size, fully insulated and climate controlled, and it takes up, I think, 3 or 4, I think it's 4 spaces long, little like row, kind of like this, but just a row of 4. And you put it down, and you can put down rows just constantly, and it grows just as well as one of these ultra fertile areas, but indoors. So say you live in an area that's like snow most of the year, then you need hydroponics because you're probably not going to be able to grow outdoors. And even if you do secure one of these areas inside, you know, it's not going to be probably as great as hydroponics. So we've got a manhunter pack coming in of Arctic foxes. Oh, Arctic foxes, so pretty, but completely useless. Let's see, they've entered the area and they're driven insane by the disease known as Scaria. They will roam the region hunting for humanoid flesh. Basically, they're gonna hunt my people and try to kill them. So we've got to kind of get rid of them. I could hide inside if I had the type of environment where I could stay inside for a prolonged period of time. I could completely ignore them, but it's good meat regardless. Oh shit, that's a lot. How many is that? 25. Sweet Jesus, people. Okay. This is... I'm gonna bring my saves up a little bit. And what I need is, I guess, all my animals. Did I end up making a raid zone? I don't think I did. Okay, I think it's high freaking time I have a raid zone. And if you're not sure what that is, I'm just going to make it as in here with the prisoners area. So, I will make a manage areas, make a new area, and I'll rename this raid. And I think there, yeah. If I invert it, it selects the whole map, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this and make this zone in here where my animals are going to go to when I select them to raid. And yes, their fur is beautiful, so I do want to harvest that because we do need clothes. My people don't have a lot of clothing. Okay, so first up, the other thing is I need to set all of these to being attacked. So when I encounter them, they'll be attacked by my people automatically. Now my animals. Particularly my panthers won't matter because they'll go out to fight, but my cats need to go to the raid. And I think my thrombos will come out to fight. And I can't do anything apparently about my pet animals. Used to be able to, but yeah, theoretically they shouldn't attack the animals, but I'm not risking it, and I need that raid zone to be made anyway. So let's see if I can find everybody on the map. Not quite. We'll just make sure you guys are going to come over, say here. No, here. About there should be fine because those two are really quite close to where I've got to go. You guys are out here for some reason. Come to the other side. Chimpanzee, you better have been actually making stuff over here instead of like just cleaning, because that's just not what we need right now. Okay, I think that's everybody. Everybody's selected, except you are a pacifist. You can go inside with the raid area. Okay, we are ready. Thanks. Hopefully they should be alright. I've only got 2 people I think that are swords people, so here we go. Nasan, you're in position, and Shizuka's there. And Nasan's, she's melee, so I'm going to need them to kind of like get together. Yeah, McLean's on his way in. They're all going down, so we need to send these people downwards. Alright. You guys, start retreating back. Too close. I haven't actually even selected everybody's animals to attack. Get in. That panther's so gonna die. Nope. Going back. Not accepting a cat death. Not one of the primary bonded, tamed, original cats. This is what happens when something precious to me dies, is we go back. We try again. So what I noticed before was that all the animals went down. Yeah, maybe. So we'll try to get everybody to go in here, and we'll send McLean still inside. He can actually hide out in there. That'll be alright. So I think the reason why the cats got killed anyway was they were nearby. The other thing too is I need to make sure we've got the animals selected. They're on their way in? Yep. Okay. Well, let's see if, since they're coming in pretty even, move you guys back. McLean, I need you to not be selected. Come on, don't go down there. Come back a little bit. That cat's going through. Are you a kitten? You're a kitten. It's kind of okay. It's not okay, but it's kind of okay. Alright. You're getting hurt pretty damn bad. Colonist needs red. Enyo's down. Will die in 7 hours. Across, what the fuck are you doing? Just kill it. Tofu's down too. Alright. Okay, gunfire's ceased. Everybody stop being drafted. And we need to get people to be rescued. So you can rescue Tofu. Enyo's down over here somewhere. No, don't rescue the fox. Nobody gives a fuck about the fox. Rescue Enyo. And I think they're the only 2 that are down. Lumi, I don't know where you thought you were going, but you're not there. Let's have a look at the damage. We've got... Amiya is in no immediate damage. Acosta isn't either. Weeks will die in 10 hours. Lincoln's got 6. Anasan's got 16. And Enyo's got 6. Tofu's got 3 hours. Tofu's priority. Then Silverware's priority. And Nitro's okay. So we've got Tofu and Silverware need to get medical attention right now. I've got to get them in there, and we're going to have to get them healed. Can you get down here, Lumi? Shizuka, priorities, people. You fix that later. Okay, waiting for Silverware to get into her bed. Come on. Okay. Prioritize healing to her. Where is Lincoln? Or Tofu? Oh yeah, he's being carried in. Okay, we need to make sure he gets into bed. Now, Seahorse, I'm pretty sure Acosta's fine. She can wait for her fucking food. Go heal Lincoln. Okay, here we go. Nitro's on his way healing himself. The others we've got a little bit of time for. We've just got to make sure that the 2 priorities get done first. Hey, Lumi, you brought like 10 animals in here. Calm the hell down. Go turn to Enyo. She looks like her life is pretty low. You can kind of see here on her name, the red's pretty low. She could be severely hurt. She could be the next priority. Some of their names are so long, it's confusing though, because it will make it seem like they're more hurt than they are, or less hurt. Weeks has still got 10 hours. Where you go, Nitro? You healed? Chimpanzee mate, can you do some healing on Weeks? I mean, Nicolene's on it. How's Enyo going? She's got 5 hours. Lincoln's got 19 now, and Silverware's no longer in danger. Maybe go prioritize tending to Acosta now. Okay. Not the worst outcome. These Panthers got 15 hours and 13 hours. I've also got to make sure none of them happen to be up in the goddamn animal hospital up the top. They're gonna healed. Okay. Nobody's up here? No. Okay, good. Alright. Everybody's okay. The Panthers are getting tended to. You watch, they're getting tended to right now. So they'll get bandages next to where they're bleeding. Their hours will go up as they begin to heal. So I'm not sure how well Nitro... he did it. They're all patched up now. When they're these like really white ones, they're higher quality. You'll see that on the people. They'll be really high quality because they're allowed to have like good medicine. If I had industrial, I think this stuff shines more. But I've only got that for in the absolute worst case scenario, and I'll probably forget at the time and I'll probably have to reload back. So who's the medical emergency? Why is somebody in their bed? What is wrong with you idiots? Okay, that is not a medical bed. Tofu's being a dick as always and just fucked off to his own bed. So he's not actually in the medical wing where he's supposed to. Tofu, if you can walk, you can't walk? Do you understand this is not a medical bed, right? Let's just do this so you're forced out of your bed. Okay. I don't know why this is now glowing. I don't know, it's just because I selected the room. So we'll make sure that his bed's still there for him later. But yeah, that's an easy way to kick somebody out and get them where they're fucking supposed to be. Fucking Tofu. If you can't tell already, I hate Tofu. The character, not the food. Tofu, the food is it's okay. But Tofu, my god, this bastard. He's already up to shenanigans now. It's probably the first one he's really pulled on this map. So far, what was it? Chimpanzee pulled more of a Tofu move earlier by having an affair. By the way, how is that going? How's his needs? So he got some loving with his wife. His opinion of her is still okay. Where's the stop cracking on to people, you fucking this guy. So everybody was cracking on to him at first, and he was like saying no to everybody because, you know, he married Weeks. And then now that he's not in that like high happy like 40 plus points of unmarried, he's now like cracking on to the ladies. Like, they have every right to be saying no to a freaking married man. He's just gonna become the Tofu of this map, isn't he? There's always one. had one match where bloody Lincoln was a tofu. Yeah, basically being a Casanova. I do get it. He is currently, he's, I believe, in his 20s, 30s. Okay, so he's 31 now. Whereas the two original guys we have, they're now 16 and 17. They were underage within like the last year or two cycle. Now we've only just recently got Nitro and McLean. McLean's in the right age group. And if you look at his like mutton chop looking like beard thing he's got going on, clearly he's a catch. So, I mean, you know, chimpanzees should be moving aside, quite frankly. A medical emergency tofu only because you didn't stay in the hospital, you idiot. Keep saving if you notice, just because I'm like concerned that somebody's just going to drop dead at any god-given second. Anasan, you're lucky you got treated in here first. I wouldn't tolerate that behavior. Now, it does beg the question that perhaps I do need more hospital beds. I only have 10. I can't make the other ones just yet, so I'm just going to build some copies. And I don't actually believe I've got enough marble for this, so I'm going to have to select it that they can do that again. I was going to get around to this, but I just hadn't. We'll make some more Thumbo furs. Eventually, they'll breed again. They take a long time, so, you know, it can be quite a while before I actually get all these beds made. Not sure what's going on with this evenness. I'm not putting a hospital bed there, so... yeah, no, I'll just leave those couple of spaces free for the moment. They'll be fine. Okay. So nobody's able to research at the moment because half my base is incapacitated. And we need our blocks unsuspended. So we need marble blocks, again, in production. Actually, nobody's probably cooking and stuff. This gun is down. Somebody's lost their guns and food, apparently. Lost their lunch. Dreadful. This area is still going okay. We've got our wood-fueled stoves and we've got our electricity areas. Look at all these Arctic foxes. So pretty, and obviously food and furs galore. So we've got 6 degrees indoors. This isn't holding. Needs to be... Is that door left open? No. This needs to be negative. So if it's 6 degrees, what is the temperature? 40 degrees outside. Holy crap. Let's get these air conditioners rolling over here. Make sure I don't have the fridge area selected. Make sure they're all on. This is going to start capping the power. I'm expecting potentially rolling blackouts to be occurring. I kind of want like one of the saves to be like further down here, but I know I keep saving really fresh. They at least have clothes. We've got some along here. I just wish you guys would just connect that part. Seahorses asleep at night? Huh. That's interesting. You're making food. Oh, we've got a quest available. This Siga again and the layer. Okay, so Siga Bemelo, chief of the Red Shore Ambers, has sent us a message. Apparently, tribespeople based in a nearby camp have been raiding their caravans. The camp is controlled by a pact of Grover. Siga is asking us to destroy the camp, which means eliminating all enemies and turrets. Siga says there's a bandit camp at the site guarded by 5 tribespeople. Okay. Well, right now, most of my base is kind of incapacitated, so I am going to accept this, but I'm not going to send them out straight away. If I don't accept it at the moment, what happens is it will expire in 6 days. Once I have accepted it, it will set a new time frame, and it will expire within that amount of days. So I am going to accept it for one of these offers. So let's have a look at what we get. We can either have a legendary minigun, which I do have a few miniguns, but hey, they're always really good to have because they take a lot to build later game. Plasteel, I don't really need that at the moment. And whatever the camp loot is, it could be anything. Could be high quality, could be low quality. Option 2 is a legendary revolver, a masterwork assault rifle. Those two are kind of good. Silver double bed masterwork, that would be better to sell or to break down into actual silver, because if I put one beautiful bed somewhere in this place, some what do you call it, the jealous type, I'll probably have one bastard in here that's jealous, and they're just gonna they're just going to destroy everything. That also offers 47 gold and camp loot of slightly higher value than the previous offer. And then the third choice is Healer Mech Serum ×3, or 268 uranium and camp loot, all valued at around about $5,508. So Healer Mech Serum is really good, but I don't have hospital beds yet. You can heal them, I believe, regardless of that. It basically heals one major health condition completely. So, as I was saying earlier today, they can get a brain scar from the shock lancers, and they could potentially become a savant, where they're unable to talk, but they're fabulous at one chosen skill. And their inability to talk can prevent them from socializing or making trades or stuff like that. It can be quite limiting and actually cause them distress. And what you can do is you can choose to heal them with the Healer Mech Serum and remove the savant trait that is a medical condition, and thus returning them back to a normal person. However, if they have, say, an ear burnt off or a leg amputated, I think it regrows the leg and the ear. It's really weird. But we could probably do with having a couple laying around in the long run. However, I am very tempted by that minigun. Plus, the value that's there, I find it also depends on what's in that location, because camp loot includes anything on that map. So I could go there and it might have, say, a lot of random steel ruins in the area, and I could take that down and bring home a heap of steel. But I am going to get it this time for the Healer Mech Serum, just because that is very important to have. At least to have one. I thought that was decaying for a second there, but it's a Black Panther thing. Now, kind of need you guys to at least, like, make something. I know you're making all these marble and stuff, but, like, I really need the electricity, like, rebuilt. How's this power supply going over here? All the way out. Not turning. Got a tiny bit of solar. We've got one solar panel. Okay. When it comes to daytime, we might get some electricity. That might be what's half funding this area. Because at the moment, you can see there's no power available. And what's happened is it's nighttime. So there's no light to turn this solar on and work. There's also almost no wind. So we've got no electricity. And that stone seems to still be steel. So we're going to go again. Try to get some more. And also just check what kind of animals we got, because the ones we have in storage now are going to start decaying since it's not really refrigerated. Just 2 degrees. It's going to start spoiling. I'll click on one of these. It says that it's fresh, it's refrigerated, but it will spoil in basically 5 days. So in 5 days time it will rot away and be basically unedible, unusable, and make a mess in here, because as it rots, as anything rots, this area will get dirty, and there's a lot of meat in here that can rot, which means a lot of food poisoning for a long time. So we want to prevent that from happening. The rain at least has brought down the temperature, thank goodness. Okay, so I'm going to change this to being only one being able to make blocks, because they seem to be making these blocks pretty damn well. I'll make sure they're all hospital beds. Alright. We'll save that, or otherwise I'll forget in the future if I have to roll back. What'll happen is I'll forget that we don't have the hospital beds set like that. Okay. The chimpanzee's working hard on getting some stone blocks. At some point we'll run out. Here's our little storage area for blocks at the moment. We've got 462, which also reflects in our block count over here. So that mustn't have all been marble. Some of that must have been slate. Yeah. So you can see what they've made. You've got a chunk, which is a natural boulder, and then you've got the blocks that they've made by carving them out. I don't have a lot of meat. What is going on with the butchering, guys? I should have so much. It's set to forever. You know what I'm going to do? It looks like it's coming into morning. I'm going to make you guys prioritize the butchering so that I can at least if the meat spoils, I can at least get fur and sell the wools and furs and stuff. I like the fact that McLean is a cook. You know, as a pacifist, he's got the option to do cooking and medical, and he does it well. So that's really good. Now, I did buy some neuro trainers, so let's activate one of these. This guy does plants. So, McLean, were you able to do anything with plants? No. You can, but you not anything good with them. Now, Nitro can do stuff with plants. He does animals too, so maybe let's see what we can get with this. He's a fast learner. He might get 5 points out of this. We might get plants up to 9. I don't know what you're doing. If you're asleep, just come down and do it anyway. We got 6. Okay, so that only went up by 2. That was dreadful. It's not the worst thing to have happen, but come on, 2 points on a fast learner. I guess fast learner more so applies to the fact that if he does a task, he'll get experience from it quicker, and therefore that will buff it up more so than if you use the neuro trainers. I imagine the the genius trait or whatever it is. I think Tofu has one. One of my people has something where they're intelligent. Too smart. Too smart's when it buffs. Alright. I sometimes get this stuff mixed up because I also do play Sims as well. And obviously, when you play Sims, if you give them the genius trait, they learn very fast. But if they have a bookworm trait, they learn faster through books. So it's kind of like that kind of stuff. And I don't always remember all this stuff because, like I said, in the past, I did have a massive colony of like 130 people. And so from my perspective, I only had to focus on a couple of them having certain points. Like, for instance, McLean having cooking and medical. That will be the only things on him that I'll buff up, except for probably maybe crafting a little bit. But because he's a chef, I would rather get that higher, that we have really good quality food coming out all the time, and he's got nothing else he's doing. So he's available to cook all day. What is that? You soliciting somebody. McLean courted Lumi by describing her as a delicate spring. Lumi ignored the advance. Ooh, spicy. I wasn't expecting that level of spicing with the cooking, but alright. That's not too bad. I don't mind if he goes for Lumi, honestly. I just want Chimpanzee to keep it in his pants for a while, you know? Foster's out here bringing in the food. That looks like it's damaged. It is damaged. Did you shoot it as part of your poor aim? I'm appalled. It only just got built. Any of the other solar panels? We got one up here. That's magnificent. We got 3 here. That would be fantastic if that got built. It's nearly been 3 hours of playing, and I haven't touched that at all. And none down here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see and just have a look at these rock formations around the place. And this has got some by the look of it. And that's silver. Okay. That's steel. Mine that. And I don't have any in surplus because obviously they keep taking it to stuff. I'm just gonna keep looking around. That's steel? Yes, it is. These are steel too, but I don't feel like taking the roof down. There's my corpse pile, by the way. That's what happens when the animals rot. That one's rotting still. That's their dead. Kind of forgot that existed. This is steel. Okay, so let's get some steel mining going up in here. We'll just go in by 2 and hope for the best. That's all steel. Same with here. I have to be so careful up here. My people have identified that this little zone in here is an ancient danger. And what that could mean is if I accidentally open up a pocket into here, I don't know what kind of dangers are inside. It could be mechanoids, it could be those like bug creatures, it could be raiders, like a previous colony that's encased in there. It could be people in a sarcophagus that I'm supposed to take in and care for. I see you. You need to die. Don't keep any predatory animals on the map or they eat my cats. Yeah, so I'd a bit wary about that area because obviously if they accidentally open it, all hell breaks loose, I have to get everybody on deck and make sure everybody's safe. That reminds me, I think I left the cats in here. These poor cats are probably so hungry. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Oh, one of them's down. Alright, let's make sure we release the cats back out. I had some down the bottom here. There we go. Now, I bet, now that they're all released, you guys able to get out of here? I'll check on that major break in a second. I just want to make sure that they're getting out. I need them to get to the food source. They should go out and hunt naturally. Most of the cats will. So Lincoln's having a major break. And why are you having a major break, mate? You're luxuriously comfortable. You attended a party, ate a fine meal, in a spacious interior, having a psychic emanator, giving a soothing experience, sky-high expectations, but your disturbed sleep, awful hospital, recreations unfulfilled, no shit, night hour and daytime, well, you could be asleep, and hideous environment and intense pain. Well, shut up. You're in a hospital. It's kind of gross, and it's also the middle thoroughfare of the entire base. And you should be asleep. That's your own problem if you're awake. These are problems that could be getting solved on their own, but it's Lincoln. It is a him problem, realistically. I mean, did you see some of the things that were first? Was like, he's in a luxurious, spacious hospital, but he's awake. Nobody likes being in a hospital. Shit, I was in a hospital like, what, a week ago? 2 weeks ago? It's not the best place to be, but, you know, you go when you gotta go. Right now, he's right there. Actually, I have to go in next month. It's gonna suck. I have to drink some kind of, like, radioactive drink, I think. Get a scan done. Not looking forward to that, because I have heard that it's awfully bitter. And after all the medical drinks I had to drink last time, the nausea is not worth it. Okay, we've got a tiny bit of steel. I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to send Chimpanzee to get here. Why don't we have it? Do we have to wait until it's in there? Plenty of eye candy. In what way is a hospital eye candy? Please explain. I'm going to keep an eye on this, because I saw them. They're going to bring iron in here. Nurses. I don't know. I had specifically 2 nurses caring for me, right? And one of them was this little lady, like, she must have been of some kind of Asian descent, and she was fine for like a couple of minutes, and then it was like she got into a repetitive loop, like an NPC that hadn't realized it had asked the questions already. And she just continued to ask the same question that she just finished asking in the previous sentence, in the next sentence. And it was like, I'm kind of like staring at it blankly for a while, like, is she okay? Nurses, hospitals and stuff, like real world hospitals. The other nurse that I had was, I can finally work on it. Let's go, let's get this done. The other nurse, I don't think there was anything particularly wrong with her, but I was so overly distracted by the fact that she'd gotten false eyelashes at some point. They were clearly, like, at that point where they're, like, disarrayed. So her eyelashes were going all over the place, and she had those super long ones. So I was sitting there, like, every time she walked by, I was hyper distracted by the fact that her lashes were going in, like, several different directions all at the same time. You working on that power conduit or what? And welcome back, Moose. It's all good. I just appreciate if you guys, like, come and go from my stream. Like, you don't have to sit here and watch the entire time. The way I see it is, like, streaming, it's not like actively watching TV or whatever, you know. You can choose to come and go, and I do save my past streams. I make them into episodes and save them into my channels, into categories and stuff like that. So if you want to ever go back and sort of see something that, you know, you were gone for a couple of hours and you wanted to see how that turned out, by all means, just come back and have a watch. I wasn't watching the entire time. I got to see about an hour, and I went and checked to see if the video was there later. Or are you talking to Tarantha? Lost me. All right. No, I watched for about an hour before it was like 2 a.m. and I'm like, I should go to sleep. I need to go to sleep. And then I went to check on it this morning to see if the video was there because I don't have time straight up in the morning, but I was going to watch it this afternoon, but it's not showing that it's available. Yeah, no, I got lucky. I got the notification probably must have been about 1 a.m. and I'm guessing that that must be about 6 p.m. Moose's time. And yeah, I was like, oh, I was kind of getting ready for bed. Hey, Fallout Boy, good to see you. I was about to go to sleep, and I'm like, no, I'll click on it. I'll check out what you're streaming. I was curious. I'm like, I do want to see because I didn't know what games you're playing, and I didn't understand what the game name was because I didn't know that Marvel had games, and so I was like, okay, well, I'll come watch, and I jumped in at the point where some chick with like I think a bit of white in her hair, she was like a blue ghosty looking thing, was just having this long conversation, and I'm like, this is friggin' interesting. I'm like, what's going on? And so I ended up watching, and then you had, was it Charlie the dog or something like that, was guiding you to where you had to go. And all I was thinking in my head was like Charlie the unicorn from like years ago. I don't know if any of you guys know the old YouTube videos that had Charlie the unicorn that was like basically a mass murderer. Yeah. That's what I was thinking when it was like, I'll follow Charlie, and I'm like, Charlie. And then I'm like watching it because I didn't know what the game would do. I'm like, the sort of the way that they run around and stuff like that reminds me a little bit of I think the game Sleeping Dogs. And if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like, it's like an Asian mafia kind of game. It's like a GTA Asia kind of thing, and it's really cool. The graphics are really nice, and um, yeah, my partner plays it. I don't follow the entire script, but it's very interesting to me nonetheless. But yeah, no, I sort of caught that, and I'm like, yeah, I ended up watching for a lot longer than I thought I was going to, because at first I was sleepy, and then I kind of pepped up because I was like watching, and it was getting interesting and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah. What is it? You're gonna fight the boss tomorrow. You're going to actually fight this new fallen boss. I'll see how I go, because like I said, obviously when you air at about 6 p.m. must be, it's 1 a.m. for me, and I have a sleep disorder, so I'm trying to fix that by going to sleep earlier and waking up early, like consistently. So that's a problem for me. So I can't encourage myself to stay up too late, or otherwise I'll just immediately fall back into being awake during the night and asleep during the day, which actually is fantastic for the people that are interested in the games that I stream, because that's the times that people are actually like mostly watching them. But it's not actually healthy for me. So somebody's in a major break risk, and that's Enyo. Why? It's almost 8 p.m. for you. It's 12:50 p.m. like lunchtime for me. So it's almost time to end the stream because I finish at 1. But yeah, I kind of figured out the time zone based on Moose had a commenter say something about a parade was starting at 7 p.m. And I sort of looked at the time, and it was coming up to 2 a.m. for me. And I'm like, well, if I roll back, because I couldn't tell. It was obviously light out, but I'm like, obviously it's either morning or it's afternoon, and I'll know soon enough by whether it gets brighter or it gets darker. And it started getting darker, so I'm like, it must have been 6 p.m. So I just made a mental note that 6 p.m. is my 1 a.m. Because the other thing too is that I have a lot of UK watchers apparently, and I don't know what the time zone difference is, but I think I worked out that my 10 a.m. is like their 11 p.m. at night. So when I'm starting to stream in 10 a.m. Australian time, it's kind of like they're laying down in bed, got time to watch a stream kind of thing, which is sort of really cool. Which is interesting though, because generally speaking, a lot of the games that I used to play, I'd either start early in the morning myself to play the game, or I'd start in the late afternoon, especially like when I was working and stuff. I couldn't enjoy playing something like RimWorld, because RimWorld's something that would catch my attention and have me locked into playing it like 16 hours non-stop. Like, I would forget to eat, I'd barely get up to go and like relieve myself, and I wouldn't sleep, so my sleep cycle would get screwed up. So I generally have found that like only playing it for about 3 hours is a good way to kind of like regulate it. I realized I forgot to speed them up, so that's why they're still like recovering and stuff. I'll just quickly save it because it's almost 1, and I'm still looking at trying to kind of like keep my times consistent. I've been sometimes going till 2. I've been finding that the days that I do that, my voice is too strained, so I'm keeping it 10 to 1. Sort of seems to be a good kind of amount of time. So far today, we've successfully done our 20 Dusters quest. Try to stream and play about 4 hours. Yeah, see, I don't actually have a job. So I was basically sitting on my ass at home, kind of like playing games anyway. And I'm like, I don't know, just one day I'd actually spoken to a doctor a couple of months ago. It was just a casual conversation where we were just discussing like, obviously I didn't work, so what were my main priority hobby interests, stuff like that. And I was talking about how like I game for about 10 hours a day. And he's like, have you ever considered streaming? And I'm like, at the time I said no, but in actuality, I had a few years ago, back before my last job, I actually had, I watched a lot of people that had done streams, but their videos on YouTube is where I found them. And I thought about it at the time, and I just wasn't good enough at some of the games that I played, or at least I didn't feel like I was ready to be on the internet. There's a lot of like, you know, growth that needed to happen for me personally before I was in a position where I felt that I would be safe getting on the internet. And so I put that kind of in brackets silly thought aside, and I went and got a job, and I busted my ass for about 3 years nonstop at that job. I gave up like personal time, family and friend commitments and everything to help make this company last and survive. And at the end of the day, they lost the contracts that kept me employed. So I no longer had a job after 3 years of absolutely busting my ass for them. And it really actually hurt quite a lot. It was one of those realizations that it doesn't matter how much you give to any one thing, like sometimes it doesn't matter at the end. Um, and it made me feel very insignificant and used and hurt. And my trust in people and my desire to work was kind of crushed really hard. And it's not like I never want to work again. It's just that I don't want to really be put in a situation where I can feel taken advantage of. And like, I am a kind of person that gives my everything to my job, generally speaking, anyway. So, when you're going above and beyond and then you get tossed out like last week's trash at the end of it, it's very unceremonious. So, I sort of, yeah, one day I just kind of had been thinking about what this doctor fellow had said, and I sort of thought about it. And I'm like, um, it can't be too hard to become a streamer. Like, not talking about becoming a popular streamer, I just meant it shouldn't be hard to actually start streaming. And I sort of looked into it a little bit. I actually hadn't slept that night, and it was about 5 a.m. and I started like, reading things and watching things. And I think by 7 a.m. I got out of bed, still hadn't slept, and I literally just jumped on the computer and just started streaming. And um, I think I did like a 4 hour stream for my first day, and then the next day I did like an 8 hour stream. And the funny thing is, my first stream never saved because I didn't have that enabled. I played PUBG for 4 hours, and I'll never get that video. Not that I did particularly well, but I wanted it for prosperity's sake. And then the second video I did 8 hours of playing RimWorld, and that was way too much. Like, I love playing my games for as long as I do outside of streaming, but I'm an introvert, so holding a conversation, and particularly like speaking out loud and stuff like that, is something I'm working on. Reading things out loud. Like I'm very, I guess, shy about reading things out loud and kind of like talking to people and stuff. Hence why it's called Miss Shy Games. And yeah, like I love PUBG. I've played that for 10 years now, I think. Might be 10 years. Maybe at least 5 years. I could guarantee at least 5 years because I think I got it before, like when it was in like pre-release or whatever it was, you know, in the beta sort of thing when they were testing it. They had like really awesome music for it and stuff, but it was pretty basic. Thank you. I do really appreciate feedback and everything. Like I love the fact that you guys like come out and checked out my streams and stuff like that. And like every single day after I finish streaming, you know, I start looking at editing videos and I watch videos, guides, tutorials and stuff like that on how to improve my streams and, you know, how do I, you know, project my voice clearer. Eventually I'm getting a new mic too, so one day I will sound a bit clearer out of nowhere, and I'll have to be careful because it'll pick up my creaky ass chair in the background. I'll have to grease it. But yeah, like I'm looking at ways that I can improve every single day, and when I think of something that's really useful or something that I think could be great advice for somebody starting out, I make a quick video sort of recording of it, of me just like saying my thoughts out loud because I can't write them fast enough. And, you know, I just keep those put aside for like, you know, one day I might transcribe those if I ever need to give advice or something. And, you know, I do check out other streamers and I've, you know, watched, I look at so many analytics too. I'm a very statistical sort of person. I know that doesn't work for sort of everybody, but if I can understand it, I can improve it, if that makes sense. And so I really like to kind of like understand, you know, do I have much competition in an area? When are people available to watch certain videos? Which day is like the least amount of people available to watch? Because I want people to watch if they want to, when they can. So I want it to be that I'm available streaming when the most people are potentially available to watch, so that less people miss out. Because there was another streamer I was watching just yesterday, a lady in the morning, and I just saw her right before my stream was ready to go, and she was doing really well and everything, but like I guess the thing that got me was like she just came up out of my recommendations out of nowhere sort of thing, and I kind of forgot where I was going with this. If somebody can roll me back like 1 or 2 sentences back to before I said that I was watching a streamer so I can remember what I was thinking. I forget stuff all the time. But yeah, she was doing really good, and it was interesting, I guess, watching what she was doing and how she was kind of like conducting her streams and stuff, and just like getting to see that sort of thing. And I find that even though I've completely forgotten where I was going with that, and I'd have to listen back to my video to figure out where I'm going, but I feel like I can learn so much from each individual and seeing how they stream and stuff like that. And it's not so much about, like I said, it's not so much about trying to become a huge streamer or something like that. It's just that I want to be able to provide something that people enjoy and, like, you know, maybe receive solace from. Like, for instance, when I was working at that job, one thing I used to do is I used to watch those people that stream their videos on YouTube. I watched them in the morning when I was getting ready before work. Especially since, like, it was one of those jobs where I had to rock up with a full face of makeup and done up hair and stuff like that, you know, as a lady. And I just, you know, not really my thing. So I needed something interesting to watch. So I watched, like, people playing PUBG and stuff and, like, making funny videos. I loved watching PUBG XG back then, because you used to have some really, really funny clips of people, like, just the silly things that people can make that I can't even think of how they do that, but I want to work out how to do it. And I think it'd be really cool one day I'll figure it out. And then I'll have those videos for other people to enjoy. You know, that's kind of like what I want to do. And I guess, like I said, the good thing is like I don't have a job that's particularly interfering, and I don't like kids, so I'm not having them, and I don't have them, so that's not an interference for me. My partner's quite supportive of me streaming and all this sort of stuff, and every day for me is literally a milestone. I found a new way to edit things that saves me time, and then that gave me time to do something else like promoting myself and watching other streamers, and you know uh, this afternoon I'm hoping that maybe I'm said and done by about 3 p.m. and then I can actually relax and chill out, and I think it'd be kind of cool because like I said, 4 days back to back, and then I get 3 days of where I need to kind of like take the time to not be doing this for a couple of days and just relax. Yeah, I think that's the other thing too, is that I had the kind of upbringing that I had was kind of like not encouraging to reach out and expand my knowledge and stuff like that. My dad's a very smart man. He is. As much as I don't get along with my family, my dad's very intelligent, and my family's played that off as like this is a negative of what happens if you know too much. So we were kind of like encouraged not to know too much about anything when we were growing up, which is bad. It's awful. But when I finally did become an adult, I kind of had the mindset of I want to learn, I want to know more. And like I said, because I give my all to everything, when I'm actually interested or learning something or I want to improve something, by golly, do I give it my goddamn all and everything. And I come out of it with like the most weirdest knowledge sometimes. Um, like for instance, at the moment, I don't know if anybody else knows this, but apparently the state of California defines bees as fish and bee produce as seafood. So if you got seafood allergies, you can't have honey. There's a random fact for the day. Bet you probably didn't know that one. um, but that's something weird that I found in amongst all this research. So I mean, I get like too deep into it, and I need to take a break, and I have a break, and I find something ridiculous, and then I'm like, right, well, I should probably go back to logic now because that was just too weird. But I should probably look at wrapping it up. I've been enjoying just like getting to sort of chat and stuff, and it was good that they kind of got all their quests. They got their quests done. I did manage to finish their research, and I got to finish a second research, and I got some solar built, and I got that freaking panel fixed. I mean, that's the main thing. Where's my Nedo Knight? Am I blind? Ah, there it is. And I mean, they still have to clean this place. They'll get to it eventually. I think when all the haul animals really get going, I'll be able to swap hauling for my people down to 2, and they'll actually start doing cleaning in their spare time instead of hauling. But I need more animals for that to work, but I still need to have enough people to tame the animals. And I guess it will be coming into spring too. Let me just quickly pause that for a sec. August. Yeah. Okay, so really, really lucky. We've already got all these crops and they're already starting to take them. I might actually just, where's my harvest? Just set this up to harvest all my crops, and then I'll resave that last Nedo Night. So they're already doing that for the next match. So Pervigrim, you're saying knowledge can be a curse, but also a blessing. Sometimes there are things that we shouldn't need to know. Sometimes having a simple mind is a lot easier. However, on the flip side, knowing how to deal with things to fix problems can be a blessing. I agree with that. Because the thing is, sometimes life is so much more enjoyable when you just, you don't have knowledge of a lot of things that are happening. But at the same time, sometimes you need to know enough to kind of like get through certain situations. Like, you know, there's a lot of situations out there, whether it be, you know, related to your house, your car, your computer, literally just social interaction, stuff like that. There's so many things where you just need to have a common level of knowledge about it to navigate it safely. And then other times, yeah, knowing too much can be off-putting, because, like, you know, if you get too far into something, you can start alienating yourself with it. So yeah, but anyway, I'm really grateful that everybody came out and, you know, watched me play RimWorld, even though I kind of like lost the plot a couple of times here. But I mean, that's the point of RimWorld, is to just come and chat and just enjoy me sort of just chilling playing the game. I will always have like a couple of sort of objectives that I'm trying to get done during that particular game stream. But, you know, for each episode, I mostly just want to have the time to be here and be able to chat to you guys. I'm glad. I'm glad you guys got to come out and sort of watch it, and I'm happy that you guys enjoyed it. I actually feel very relaxed and already chill for my afternoon. Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. I'll be back on Saturday with PUBG. So, you know, come and watch me then if you're interested in seeing me fail and win at PUBG at the exact same time. Some of the games can get pretty funny, and some of them are just like, how that's ridiculous, you know. But anyway, I'll end it here. I'll see you Saturday.